Good evening, everyone. I hope my voice is audible to all of you and I'm visible as well. May I get a quick confirmation over the YouTube chat box? Am I audible to you? Good evening. That's great. So, welcome you all to Advanced Audit and Assurance orientation, where I'm going to discuss everything about this paper. And at the end, I'm going to give you a planner, which we are going to follow for the September 2025 attempt, right? So please stick to this video till the last. And of course, if you are someone who's planning on to enroll in AAA sessions at TG Professionals, then also you would get to know about how you can do that and what all features are there within the batch. Okay. So let's first start with what do we mean by this paper advanced audit and why so many people are literally afraid of this paper. Like, why the pass percentage is so low? That's the first thing that comes to our mind because it's an optional paper, right? And we are still, some people are still in a tiff to decide that whether we should opt for this paper or not. Should we go for an easier paper, but we like audit, but we think that audit is demanded in the industry? So such questions strike your mind, right? So drop a yes if you have such a question too. So basically, guys, advanced audit is basically a step ahead of SBR. That is your strategic business reporting, which you have done or you are going to do, which is based on IFRS. So now audit means that once we have prepared the financial statements, we are supposed to see whether those financial statements were true and fair or not. That's what our agenda is in audit. So this whole audit thing happens because, the person who owns the company, that is the shareholder, and the person who manages the company, that is basically the management or the CEO, the CFOs, the people who manage the company and the people who own the company are different. So owners are having their life, okay, so they don't want to get into the execution part, so they hire people or they give out such roles to CEOs, CFOs, or executive directors that you will do the management. But then those people who are managing the company, they get a lot of power. And imagine if I own something, but the power is with someone else, and I have to trust them. So if they say that, your share of profit is $10 million, how can I trust on them? I need to have some kind of check on them that why, my profit was just 10 million and why someone else's profit was different. And why did you in this year make a decision of maybe expanding your business abroad? So it's like it's your company, your business, you are the owner, but someone else is managing it and you don't trust that person. Now this trust issue is exactly what we call as agency theory. So there is a mistrust between the person who is controlling the company and the person who's owning the company. And for that reason, these shareholders, who are the actual owners of a particular entity, they hire someone who's independent. So you just imagine a grand entry of someone into the movie of audit, and this guy is independent, okay, and this guy has a lot of powers because he's supposed to give something known as audit report, where he'll tell whether those managers, whether those executive directors are true and fair or not, whether what they've stated in the financial statements is correct or not. So he's going to save the shareholders, right? So he's the weapon used by the shareholders, that dude, you go and check whether the financial statements are true and fair or not. So that's what audit is, that process of checking, the in a very simplest form, the process of reviewing whether the financial statements are true and fair or not is exactly what I mean by audit, right? And the person who does that is of course termed as auditor, right? So it's like an external audit. I'm talking about statutory audit here. I'm not talking about that managers themselves, they recruit a person to find their own mistakes. That's internal audit. I am talking about statutory audit, the most powerful form of audit, external audit. Now, guys, you understand that why is this whole subject into being, that, that powerful person is going to come with all his weapons, skepticism, his procedures that he's going to conduct, and then he's going to tell whether the financial statements are true and fair or not. So this person has to check the financial statements with certain rules in mind, right? So I understand he's powerful, but he's not a mystic being, right? He's not coming from the heaven. So he has to operate under certain rules, right? Certain standards that, okay, if such a situation arises, what should the auditor do? What will the auditor conclude out of this? What procedures will he conduct? What kind of assurance he's supposed to give, what kind of report he's supposed to prepare, what are the different kinds of opinions that he can give. So that's basically the standard on which audit is based, and that's what we learn in AAA, international standards on auditing. So every country would have their own standards of auditing, but since we are doing ACCA, so we know the international language, so we are doing international standards on auditing. Right. So this is basically why AAA is there. And what do I mean by AAA? What do I mean by audit? Okay. Now, why is this paper, the standards on auditing, so difficult? Why people are unable to actually get a full, maybe 100% passing score? Like why people are not passing? Everyone is not passing this paper. What is the reason behind that? See, the basic reason, first of all, the basic reason is that they think that the syllabus is very easy. I'm telling you today, it's the day one of your preparation. Syllabus is super easy. And it is interesting. Like very interesting, very practical. You're going to look into how things happen, actually how good received notes comes in, how good dispatch notice issued, how can I review the trail. It's very practical subject. That okay, if let's suppose you're we're working in a shop environment, okay, so maybe they have acquired certain goods from a supply chain. So how can I check the trail? Like, they must have placed an order, so maybe a purchase order is there. Then after the purchase order, there was actually an order which was like a good, you made a payment in advance, so that invoice must have been there. So you must have received an invoice, and then you must have made the payment, and then the goods must have been dispatched to you, and then you must have issued a good received note when you received the goods in your warehouse. So all these things are very practically, okay, they're very practically happening around the globe. So this is something what we learn in AAA, that how the business process works. So if you would know your client, if you're an auditor, you know that how my client works. I can easily figure out what are the risky areas of my client, like where there can be a mistake, or what I call as misstatement. So what is my objective as an auditor? My objective is simple, that I am supposed to figure out if the financial statements are true and fair or not. So I need to figure out if there's any mistake. So I'm finding misstatements. I'm finding risky areas. So syllabus is very easy. And that's where people feel that maybe this paper is just, people are just lying about the difficulty level. But when they come to the world of case studies, when they start with their practice, when they actually write their first mock, or when they write their first assignment, they really realize this, that what they did in the syllabus part, in the preparation part, was very easy, manageable. And now suddenly, when it comes to writing, they're not getting good marks. When their assignments are marked, they're not getting good marks. Why? Number one, time management. Number two, the biggest reason is you don't use posh language, professional words, keywords, and you do not apply your knowledge well to the case study. AAA is all about answer writing and application. SBR, if you compare it with SBR, it's more about, okay, you know the standard, you applied the standard. Answer writing is not that important. But in AAA, answer writing is an element. Application is, of course, there. So it's like, you should know the standard, you should be able to apply the standard, and you should be able to memorize the keywords of the standard as well, so that you can replicate it as it is. So these are the major reasons. Okay, they might be good at the concept. The students might be good at the concept, but they might not be good at application. They might be good at concepts and application, but then not retention. Maybe they're not using posh words. A very simple example. In a case study, if they ask you, identify the reasons why inventory is a risk of material misstatement. Just imagine this is the requirement. Now, inventory is given to you as a risk of material misstatement. If you start your answer with saying that inventory is a risk of material misstatement, there's a risk of material misstatement in inventory because, okay, and then at the end you also conclude that that is why inventory is a risk of material misstatement. For you, it's simple that, in the beginning I wrote this line and at the end I wrote this line. We don't even care about these things. But in the examiner's point of view, it's repetition of your points. You gave this point, this was already given to you in the question. You gave this as an introduction, then you also gave it as a conclusion. Repetition. You lose your professional marks there. So there are 20 professional marks in this paper. In SBR, it was 4. Here, I have 20 freaking professional marks. So I cannot be repeating stuff. I cannot be writing in normal general language. I cannot think that, okay, let me write basics. Let me write in pointer form, bullet form, number form. No. Or let me use a short form. No. You have to be very crisp and concise in your writing. You should be using posh words. You should be writing the exact standard. If you write a different standard, even the number, either don't write the number. If you write a standard ISA number and it turns out to be wrong, you're gone. Your professional marks are gone. So what I'm trying to say here is that this paper is very professional. It's like perfectionist paper. You have to be a perfectionist. If you are asked to write an audit procedure and you end up writing an evidence or vice versa, you might wonder after the exam, I wrote everything correct, I'm going to pass. But then at the end, you end up not passing. So the reason could be that there were some obvious mistakes that you didn't realize because you didn't get your assignments marked. You didn't get your mocks marked. So it's very important that we know what we are typing. Is it right or not? It's very important in AAA to practice. So that is the reason this paper has become really difficult to pass, because some people think that they're doing the right thing, but actually they're not doing the right thing. And then they end up actually failing the paper. So let us, right? Let us get into the orientation now. I've given you the background of this paper. And as an input in AAA, guys, I'm going to use SBR. Everyone is going to use SBR. So one of the biggest, I think, blessing that I would have or I would consider is that AAA requires. So if you think about AAA as a burger, so burger requires a filling of SBR. So it's the structure is of AAA, but actually the content is SBR. So if I say that there's a mistake in the financial statement, obvious thing that shareholders would like to know is that, okay, you said that the financial statements are incorrect because financial instruments are incorrectly presented. But then tell us what is the correct treatment and why do you think it is wrong? So if you would not know the correct treatment, how you can mention that this is the mistake? So for that reason, of course, I need SBR knowledge. Then only I can develop the points further for AAA. Correct? So this is what we are going to learn in AAA. In addition to SBR, we are going to do few more things like review and reporting, ethics, money laundering, audit risk, planning, fraud, laws and regulation, professional skepticism, then some things like there's a sustainable standard, reporting standard on, audit in audit as well. Just like we have IFRS S1 and S2. So we have ISSA 5000. So all these things are what we are going to cover in this exam. So let's get started with the screen sharing and what I have to share with you today. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's see. I've already discussed the significance of AAA with you, right? I've already discussed the significance. Now let me discuss the format of this paper. So in this question paper, we are going to get 3 questions, just 3 questions. 80 marks will be technical marks, 20 marks will be professional marks. Okay, so 10 professional marks here, 5 here, 5 here, totaling up to 20. Why are we getting these professional marks? As I said, for presentation, for writing on the point, having a logical flow in your answer, having commercial acumen, using professional skepticism. All these things, what I'm telling, are adjectives which you will learn with practice. Okay, so there's no point of knowing why we're getting these professional marks until you dive into practice. You won't understand it. I can tell you theoretically, this is what you mean by commercial acumen, but what's the benefit of it? At the end of the day, you have to apply it. So when we'll be doing the case studies, I will show you how you can apply commercial acumen. Okay. Now, question number 1 is going to come from like audit risk or risk of material misstatement. There can be business risk as well. There can be evidence or procedures requirement. Fine. And there can be some direct question, direct theory question. So usually at the end of our course, when we have grand revisions, I discuss all the direct theory questions that you could get. Then question number 2. So question number 1 is worth 50 marks. So half of your paper is done in question number 1. So now you understand that this is very important. Audit risk, ROMM, business risk, these things are very important. Question number 2 is for 25 marks, okay? And usually this is going to come from matters to be considered. So this is a special kind of a requirement where we have a special way of answering this requirement. What matters are considered in the case study? So you will talk about materiality, the treatment of that particular, case, and what will be the accounting treatment as per IFRS, and what is its impact on financial statements. So matters to be considered, that means something will be going wrong in the accounting treatment by the management. As an auditor, we're going to point it out and we are going to tell the correct accounting treatment, and we'll tell them the impact of that misstatement on financial statements plus the audit report. Then you might get again evidence. You might get something related to quality management, ISQM 1 or 2, right? So that's question number 2. Question number 3, it will be usually from review and reporting and what other assignments. So I'll discuss this. These are part of your syllabus. I'm just telling you, this is not something to be noted down or anything. With time, you will get accustomed to it. But right now, I'm just telling you that what are the mark allocations. So 50 marks, 25 marks, and 25 marks. So when I take your assignment on this question number 1, I'm literally taking your half mock. So there will be like around 2 assignments. So 2 half mocks. Imagine. So that kind of, that kind of things we are going to follow. Then this is what we have as format. Let's look at the real paper of AAA. Just have a look at this. This is basically June 2024 AAA paper. Let's have a glance at it. So let's go to the first question, which is for 50 marks. This is how it looks like. You have a background information in front of you. Then you have your requirements for 50 marks. So we have to respond to partner's email. Just see, 40 marks are technical, 10 marks are professional. Why are we getting this 10 mark? For demonstration of skill in communication. So that means how you report things, okay, how you send back an email to the audit engagement partner or senior. Then how do you do analysis of a situation? How do you evaluate a situation? How do you apply a professional skepticism? That means questioning mind. Then what is your judgment? Like, are you able to apply your judgment well? For example, okay, let's take a very interesting example here. Let's suppose I say that there is a misstatement in the financial statements in inventory recognition. Because when I purchased the inventory, okay, the person who was recording the purchases, he actually did a mistake on purpose, okay, intentionally. What he did was, That inventory came in, he took it to his own home and he said that we never received that. Good. Let's suppose this scenario is there. Now, as my skepticism, okay, my skepticism would say that, of course, this is one inventory mistake that I've found. There can be many such more mistakes, many such more frauds that this person has conducted. So I will talk about that as a risk. Then I will move a little step ahead and I'll say, why did this fraud happen? Why did this person has a lot of power? Why there is no segregation of duties? So that's my second, thought. This thought does not come easily. This thought comes with a lot of practice. So this thought comes to my mind that yes, he should have been given segregation of duties. Then he wouldn't have conducted a fraud. Okay. Then next thing that I think about is that if fraud is conducted in the phase of inventory, it could have been conducted in many other phases as well. Maybe this person might have colluded with someone. So what about that person with whom he colluded? So the internal controls, if on inventory are weak, there's a possibility they're weak on rest of the areas as well. So I need to do sample testing. I might test the controls again. So all these things which are coming to my mind, like it's just one thing that happened and I have a series of thoughts. So those series of thoughts only come when you are skeptical and you have a good judgment, right? Commercial acumen, as the word means, it's basically on having a cost benefit. So I have to apply all these skills to get professional marks. Now, if you look at the requirements, see, you're supposed to evaluate significant business risks to be considered in the planning of group audit. So business risk is where I consider myself as a CEO or CFO of the company, and I have to tell what risks this company might have been facing. Then justify, okay, why each of the following issues have been identified as a significant risk of material misstatement. So this is a new kind of requirement which has recently gone tested. You might encounter the same. So they're not asking you to find ROMMs or risk of material misstatements by your own. They've actually given you certain areas where they feel there might be a mistake. So they're asking you, why do you think these areas are risky areas in the balance sheet or P&L? So we will learn how to answer such questions and what do you mean by risk of material misstatement. You'll get to know about everything. So 14 marks, like 14 marks, can you imagine? Then design principal audit procedures to be performed on impairment of cash generating units. Which subject have you ever seen this impairment of cash generating units? Comment down in the chat box. Where have you seen this topic ever? Where have you seen this topic? Yes, we've seen this in FR. Then we have seen this in SBR. And all these operating licenses, operating segments, all these are also related to IFRS only, let me tell you. The content, the burger's content is IFRS only. Its structure and the format is of audit, but actually the core content is SBR. Right? So this is something on which I have to perform a procedure. Yes, on this I am supposed to tell them that what work can be conducted. Then in relation to the matters arising from the email from the chair of the audit committee, discuss the auditor's responsibilities. Okay, this is a theoretical topic, and describe the impact on planning of the audit. So this is what I told you. You might find a business risk question, an ROMM question, something related to a procedure or ethics, and something which is a direct question. Right? So this is our question number 1, 50 marks, which tells me that audit risk and procedures are very important for me. So basically, I call this area as audit planning, right? Okay, let's move to question number 2 now. Question number 2, 25 marks. See, first they are asking you to explain the ethical threats identified by the audit engagement partner. Okay. Evaluate the proposed safeguards. So this is related to ethics. So if auditor, that powerful person, is going to see whether financial statements are true and fair or not, of course, he will follow certain ethics, right? So ethics, code of ethics, as we did in SBR, we did in AA, all the papers that we have done, ethics, as it is, they will be tested here with extra application. like various situations in which, for example, you're an auditor, but the firm requires you to be their valuation expert as well. So can you provide this service to them or not? So such scenarios will be considered as well. Then using exhibit to evaluate professional and ethical matters relating to fee and proposed listing. So whenever they talk about professional and ethical matters, they're talking about quality control and ethics. So professional matters are usually related to quality management. So again, this is for 10 marks. Pure application. So very interesting. If you like, interesting stuff, something realistic stuff, you would enjoy this subject very much. Okay. So this is question number 2 with 5 professional marks. Let's see the last question. What do we have? Okay. Question number 3. Discuss the group auditor's considerations when determining which components of group audit should be worked, performed on. So that's a theory question. Then comment on the matters to be considered in relation to the issues identified. Now see, matters to be considered. Usually it comes in question number 2, but here it has come in question number 3. See, you can't predict anything. It's just a general trend that I shared with you. So yes, matters to be considered can be there in question 2 or 3, but it is short there. And they are also asking you together with it audit evidence. So you should, with time, you will realize what is the difference between audit procedure and audit evidence. Then possible classification of laundry as held for sale, which standard? SBR, IFRS 5, right? So they're asking you comment on these matters. IFRS 5, and again, discontinued operation is again IFRS 5. Then they're asking you, using the information provided in the completion update, justify appropriate audit opinion and explain the impact on auditor's report. This is nothing but review and reporting. As I said, review and reporting is usually tested in question number 3. So again, 5 professional marks here. See, what is the difficulty? When you look at this paper, it might seem that, okay, I can manage it. Yes, that's true. But the difficulty is because of the time pressure that you face, okay, the application that you have to do, and the language that you have to use. These are the 3 core areas, okay, application, time, and language. So if you actually, you conquer these 3 things, nobody can stop you from passing the paper. So that's what our format of the paper exactly looks like. Now, let me just quickly cover some aspects of the batch with you, okay? We've covered aspects of AAA, but there are certain students who've studied SBR from me or, who are planning on to enroll for AAA. See, you can simply visit the website, you all know tgprofs.com, and you can actually watch the trial videos there. Also, you can visit my YouTube channel, watch the previous quarters, grand revisions, and so many videos on audit which are already there. And then you can plan on to enroll. Now, let me be very brutally honest with you. You can manage the syllabus of audit by yourself. Yes, you can. If you're doing self-study, you can. What is required that even if you're planning self-study, try to take certain guidance on the case studies and at least something like, someone who checks your papers, your way of writing, at least that support. That is very essential. Even if you're a self-study student, okay, you're not taking a full-fledged batch, at least go for it. Because I wouldn't have said this in any other paper, like SBR is manageable without these marking things also, but AAA is really, it requires that you know whether you are on the right track or not in writing your work. Then once you enroll, okay, in the full batch, which is going to have recorded classes, live sessions on the Sundays. Today we have it on a Monday, but from now onwards, it will be on every Sunday, 8 p.m. Indian time. So we're going to have weekend live sessions. We're going to have a lot of other features, like there will be 6 assignments, including 2 half mocks, right? And then we are going to have 1 mock full-fledged, which will be marked. So if you enroll once, you are going to get your credentials. Like, for example, if you sign up and then enroll, then automatically you can sign in on the website with your email. Otherwise, you will check your email for the credentials. Please check spam folder too. You can also forgot your password and make your own password again if you've forgotten it. Then you have to watch the orientation. Now that's where, like, if you're already enrolled, your first step is to watch the orientation. So today you're taking your first step. Okay. Second thing is you have to start watching the lectures in the order that I've given to you and as per the plan that I'm going to share with you today. While watching the lectures, okay, you are supposed to make certain running notes. Now, these running notes are not so essential because I have given you some compiled notes. If you do not have access to them, please put a message on the WhatsApp group, okay, the group that you're part of after your enrollment. Please put a message there. You will get access to it. It's also there on the portal. These notes are what you will get printed, keep on your table, okay, and make sure that you're referring to them whenever you are studying. Now, this Kaplan T-values that I had been telling you for SBR are not relevant for us in AAA. So we are not going to do that, okay. Live classes will be on our Sundays. So once you watch the lecture, what you have to do? Are you supposed to do T-values? No. Are you supposed to do exam kit? No. You have to just read the notes. Read them as many times as possible. I use the same notes. When I studied, I used the same notes, okay? And when I was doing it, I actually read these notes so many times that that concept really fit in well in my brain and I could write good answers in the exam. So you have to actually also read these notes as much as possible. So I have debriefed those notes to you. I have, debriefed the concept to you. You have to make sure that you keep on reading the notes even after the session. So for your revision, you will again visit the notes, right? So after watching the lecture, you need to read the notes that I've provided. Then weekend live class, Sunday, 8 p.m. Indian time. On this, I will do some questions with you from the past papers. So I use BPP content or BPP exam kit for AAA. There's no change in BPP's syllabus or so. Any hefty change is not there. So you can use very easily, you can use previous exam kits as well. So there's least change in audit, okay? Whatever updations happen, we do consider them in our live classes, like there are technical articles, stuff like that. We do consider that in our live sessions, which starts from the next weekend. Now, in the weekend session, I am going to do homework questions. Okay, so I'm going to give you homework questions that, okay, you can attend these questions after today's class. Plus, there will be 6 assignments, as I said. So unit-wise assignments will be there, right? So that's what we have to follow as our approach. Now, if you would have any doubt throughout the batch, see, you are going to have your WhatsApp group by the name of AAA September 2025. Okay, that's how you can get your doubts clarified. So there is a tutor assistant in the group. Okay, I am there in the group, but usually in the WhatsApp group, honestly, the TA is going to cater to your doubts. When I am going to cater to your doubts, it is on the weekend live classes. Plus, okay, if you have any portal related query, you have to WhatsApp on this number. Their turnaround time is 24 hours. This number is also there on website, on my social media handles. You can easily find this number. So this is my team's number, right? They will help you in any case for enrollment, for any portal issue that you're facing, anything that you want to discuss. If it is subject related, then you have the group and the academic expert, okay? But this is the technical support. Then if you want to call, so not WhatsApp, but normal audio call on this number can be done. Okay. So these are the timings for the call. Now, if you want to talk directly to me, okay, after today's orientation, expected by tomorrow, there will be a link available on the group description, the paid group description, the formal group that has been created for the September batch, on which you can actually schedule your call. This is something that I had been working on since 2 quarters. I'm being very honest with you. So there was a time, when I realized that some people, they have repetitive doubts. So last quarter, this happened that everyone literally, every day I was taking a call and the question was same that, ma'am, I am feeling panicked because the paper is just approaching. I don't know what to do, whether I'm on the right track or not. So every day I was answering to the same question. And then in that case, I took a combined session and I, clarified the same doubt which everyone was asking. But then I realized still there is a need for personal touch to the batch. Okay, so I try my level best to improve in any area that I might be lacking in. So that's why we've introduced this new feature. Okay, you must schedule a call with me if you have anything related to strategy. Like if you actually want to develop a strategy, like for example, ma'am, I'm working, my time schedule is very tight. I go to work at 7 a.m. and I come back at 8 p.m. and it's very difficult for me to manage studies. How can I do that? If such questions are there, something which is very personal, something which you want to discuss, which I've not considered in any of the sessions, not related to the subject, okay, not related to the technical part of the subject. So you can't. So imagine you schedule a call with me and you ask me, ma'am, BPP exam kit question number 23, can you explain it? See, that is something which can be done on WhatsApp, because of course if I'm taking a call, I might not have that book handy to me. It's better that you ask it on WhatsApp, and then I can actually take the time to read that question and come back to you with a proper voice note and an answer to that question, right? So that is not something that we do on one-on-one calls. These calls are for mentorship. Okay, for technical doubts, I've given you the solution. It's the WhatsApp group, and we have weekend live classes. Whatever doubts you would ask, they will be answered in the Sundays, right? So I've already discussed with you the features of the batch. Now, one thing that I forgot to discuss is Super 20 live classes. Now, this is very important feature of the batch again. This is something which will happen in August. We are going to meet live for 7 days consecutively, 3-4 hours every day, and we are going to do 20 questions live in the class, in addition to the video exam library, which we already have on the portal by the name of Kit Question Debrief section. So that section literally has the majority of the BPP exam kit solved, past papers, recent past papers solved. So it's like debriefed. You'll have an answers attached to them, what I wrote in the class, whatever I annotated in the class, everything is attached along with that particular video, right? Then we are going to have grand revision session, 6 assignments, including 2 half mocks. Okay, 1 mock is marked. There is 1 more mock, okay, which is just debriefed. Now, this is something which is not marked. This is self-marked. So I just wrote 1 mock marked, but there is 1 more mock which is given to you for your practice. But on that, only a debrief is available. That means you have to self-mark it. So basically 2 mocks, 1 is marked, 1 is debriefed. But yes, 6 assignments marked for sure. Okay. And then of course, doubt support, all that stuff that I've already discussed. I've already discussed with you the major reasons of failure in AAA in the beginning only, that people underestimate this paper, they misapply the standards, they don't do time management, they have a weak concept, they try to cram stuff. And then when they see a bouncer question, these are the same reasons why people fail in SBR also. When you see a bouncer question, uh, you feel like, okay, this is very difficult, let me solve it, let me be the first one to decode it. No, if you see something which is very difficult, please first try to get your easy marks. Nobody is going to give you extra marks for any question. So at least pass first, then think about solving something which is very difficult. So go for easier bits first, and difficult bits we'll do later on, right? So we have to use this strategy and we have to plan ahead before we actually go and write our answers. So basically, this is what I wanted to discuss with you from AAA's perspective. Now, let me share the planner with you. Okay, here is the planner. Please pay attention to it. Let's go one by one. I'll take your doubts at the end. Let's first discuss the syllabus areas. First syllabus area is money laundering and ethical implications. So this money laundering question can be there in question number 1 as a theory topic. Ethics can be there in question 1, 2, or 3. There is no such rule where it will be asked. Now you're supposed to cover this via recordings. Ma'am, from which date? Today it's 16th of June. You start today, you end it by 22nd June. 22nd June is Sunday. Come on, check quickly. It's a Sunday. So we are going to have our class on Sunday at 8 p.m. Indian time. I've kept this time so that most of the people are available. Now, okay, I'm telling you honestly, when you will be doing this area, you might find audit a little boring. Okay, that, oh, too many theories, too many concepts, little boring. Very honest with you. But when you're going to come to this area, now this is so practical. You know, what I do in my sessions, which I consider as a blessing in disguise, because I teach SBR also, I actually take up a standard, an IFRS. I would explain that standard to you. Then I'll tell you that what is the related audit risk of that standard and what is the related audit evidence or that procedure of that standard. So in this way, I am helping you prepare for IFRSs as well as audit. But if you pick up any, resource out there, nobody is actually explaining or no book is actually explaining you the standards along with audit. But actually standards are like 40% of AAA is going to be based on SBR knowledge. And imagine nobody is actually explaining that. So many people, who are taking up AAA, they end up watching my content. Like even, there have been instances that people who are doing AAA, they would end up enrolling with me for SBR, even though they've already passed, because they know that in AAA, SBR is used and they're struggling with it. They will be watching grand revisions on YouTube. So yes, SBR is used in AAA. So it's very important that as a mentor, I do teach SBR alongside AAA. These things go well together. So this is what we are going to have here. Audit risk, IFRSs and related evidence and procedures. I've given you 2 weeks for it. So this is a big area which you will cover from the portal, and I've given you 2 weeks for it. So we are going to meet on 6th of July at 8 p.m., which is again a Sunday, for this topic. Then group audit, like you had group in SBR, now you're auditing the group. So there is a concept of component audit, or there's a concept of group materiality. We are going to do all of that, learn all of that, okay? 6th July till 13th July, 1 week. Then we are going to meet live and we'll do a 50 marker here and we'll do a 50 marker here. So on 6th of July and 13th of July, I am doing 50 marker questions. Imagine I'm already reaching that level of understanding that I can manage a 50 marker. Then review and reporting, 13th July to 20th July. This is very easy area, not something conceptually very easy. 20th of July, we are going to do its application in the live class, right? Okay. Then we have other assignments and small ISAs. Now, okay, what do you mean by other assignments? Let us understand other assignments. Now, as an auditor, you're just not doing audit. There can be certain review engagement given to you. There can be certain, like due diligence. What is due diligence? Someone like a company can ask you that I want to acquire another company. Can you tell me, is it worthwhile to acquire that company? If yes, how much should I charge that company? Or how much should I pay for that company? What are the worth of the net assets of that company? That's due diligence review, right? So these are other assignments. Then there can be a review on cash flow of that company. So it's not just that you're doing audit, you can be appointed for many other such assignments. So we have some assignments in our syllabus like due diligence, cash flow forecast. We have forensic investigation. We have the audit on key performance indicators or, additional performance measures. So all these things are what we are going to cover along with small ISAs like fraud, laws and regulations, all that, small areas by 27th of July. So 27th of July, we are ending our syllabus. Okay. And I will give you few days after that, even if you would have any backlog, I'll give you few days. Okay. and ultimate planners, which is, if you are my SBR student, you would know, even if you are not enrolled into the batch, but even if a self-study student, you know that there's an ultimate planner which is given 1 month before the paper, which is where I tell you every day's plan, what you're going to cover as a question. So every day which question you're going to cover from where. So if you're into the crash course or the enrolled batch, you will be told that yes, do these questions from the portal, do these questions yourself. Then there will be super 20 classes live for 7 days. That's something which usually starts around around 6th or 7th of August. So tentatively you can take it around 6th of August, but again it is something to be finalized, which I'll tell you when the ultimate planner will be out. So 5th August I'm taking towards pessimistic side, but usually the ultimate planner will be out by 1st of August. So this is what we have as a plan for AAA, right? This is like an overview plan. These are the dates by which you should be done with these areas. And yes, now you can ask your questions. And if you know, talk about the recording of this session, I'm seeing some questions regarding it. It will be available after the session is over on the YouTube only. And then the planner will be attached in the description box and you could be able to download it. So that is what I wanted to discuss with you from my side. Now I am open to the questions, whatever you want to ask. So let's go with the batch questions. Since AAA is built up on SBR in terms of standards, so what is the best way to recap on the standards if I've taken and passed long back? Jos, see, in my course, you will see the standards again. I'll be teaching the standards again. There are certain small standards which I take as brought forward knowledge. So for that, you can refer to any of my grant revisions, okay? And I would say that my notes, the notes which are attached for that area, the notes which are compiled, those are the notes that even I used as a student. So those are not exactly my notes, right? But there are notes attached to the videos which are available, which are mine, okay, which we made during the session. So of course you can use them to revise your standards as well as the audit risk and procedures. So grand revision, lectures, and the notes. Okay, are there two mocks or one? Because okay, as I said, one mock is marked, one mock is debriefed, right, Navneet? I have BPP 22-23. Is it fine? Yes, go with old kits. Totally fine. There is no change in the question asking form, or there's no change in the syllabus. Audit has been same, just sustainability things and technical articles have been added that we will anyway do when we do question practice in Super 20 sessions. So don't worry. Okay, so can you give some tips for students giving AAA and AFM together? I think they're not related. Okay, so you should have given SBR and AAA together. But if you've already passed SBR, then okay, that's also fine. So I think AAA would require a lot of your time in practice, and AFM would require a lot of your time in concept preparation. So I've given both these papers. So I feel AFM needs more time in concept understanding and AAA needs more time in practice. So please plan your months like that, that okay, in June and July, your focus is more on AFM, but you are also completing AAA syllabus. And then, August, mainly you're keeping for AAA. Okay. Drishti, okay. Why didn't you go for the extension, Drishti? You can DM the team regarding this, okay? The number that I've shared. Hi, ma'am, can you please share the combined planner for SBR and AAA when possible today? Okay, Rajani, so I'll be making a small video on how you can give SBR and AAA together. But today I gave you a AAA planner, but the planner of SBR and AAA together will be out tomorrow. Again, it will be available on YouTube. So you could be able to access it again by 8 p.m. Indian time. You'll be able to find it. Okay. Yes, I will give you a combined planner. If you're taking SBR and AAA both from me, or you're doing them together by self-study, I'll give you a combined planner for the same. Don't worry on that. Tomorrow is the day for it. Meanwhile, don't waste your today. What plan that I gave you yesterday for SBR, do that. NCA, IFRS 13 conceptual framework. Here, money laundering and ethics, do that. There's no change in this. I'll just tell you in the second week part, that audit risk part and how to manage the IFRS part. So that is what I will shift a little bit. Is it possible to study SBR and AAA in 6 months? Yes, people are doing it in 3 months only. But if you're a full-time student, then only do this. Otherwise, if you have very less time, see, if you want to giving SBR and AAA together in, let's suppose, September attempt, my suggestion is that you should have at least 4 hours of study every day in that situation. And on the weekends, maybe 6 to 7 hours. Then only, that too consistently, then only you'll be able to manage. In August, this input will increase to 5 hours every day, maybe, or more, depends upon how you receive things. This is an average that I'm giving you. So some people, they're very smart learners, they take less time for a concept. Some people are slow learners, which is okay, they take time to understand, right? So that totally depends upon student to student, but I'm just giving you an average number of hours. So being a working professional, if you have these number of hours to study, if you can take them out productively, then only sit for two papers together in one attempt. Otherwise, you can do it in consecutive attempts. Okay. AAA and APM, is it manageable? It is manageable, but there's no overlap, right? So you can give it, but there's no overlap. Like I can make a combined planner for SBR and AAA because IFRSs are there in SBR also and AAA also, but no such overlap is there between AAA and APM. You can give it, okay? They're unrelated, but still can be done. Is it possible to study AAA? Okay, I've already discussed that, ma'am. For study text, which publisher is best? For AAA, it is BPP. For SBR, it is Kaplan. Can you share a combined planner? Yes. I've already discussed thing, I think. Shrushti says, can I refer to Kaplan for concepts? Shrushti, if you've already started using Kaplan, fine. But if you talk about me and the batch that I take, I refer to notes, okay? And for exam kit, I use BPP. The reason is because I find Kaplan too crisp for AAA. So Kaplan way of, if you look at it, its way of delivering the concept is very to the point, straightforward, and which is good for SBR, which is good because I don't want to have stories around the standards, right? What it is, if it is going via P&L, it is going via P&L. If it is going via OCR, it is going via OCR. So no ifs and buts in that. So that's why I refer to Kaplan for SBR. But for BPP, I need a little, better way of writing, more words, more posh language. So that's why for AAA, I refer to BPP, but still, it's okay. Nobody is saying that it's bad. Kaplan is equally good. It's just my personal recommendation. That's what you can say, with a very small reason behind it that I've already discussed with you. Is it mandatory that we have to prepare through BPP? I have books with me for AAA. Yes, Anusri, as I said, I use notes plus BPP exam kit. If you want to use Kaplan, totally your choice. Nothing bad in that. Okay. Will the ultimate planner be available for, yes, for self-study students also, it will be available on YouTube. Don't worry, just like this planner. So for the students going to work, it is the ideal time to put towards studying. What is the ideal time? Okay, is that what you're asking? Yeah, see, if you are working as well as you are preparing for the papers, I think the morning time is the most ideal time. That's what I always suggest, because very simple thing that in the morning, first of all, you're very productive. Secondly, if you get done with your major workload, something which is like an extreme pressure on you, that okay, your office work is your boss work, right? At the end of the day, he's going to benefit from it. But your personal work, that is studying, if you are compromising on that throughout the day, you will feel that guilt. But if you get rid of it in the beginning of the day, you're going to have a good day ahead. So if possible, do it early morning. And usually I've seen people like, ma'am, I will study once I come back to office, but every time when I come back from the office, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, my mind is not working, I have so many things to do, I have family to cater to, so all these things don't let me study. So I suggest you have to steal the time. Okay, I totally get it. I'm like, The people who are full-time students are literally blessed. I totally get the pressure that people who are having who are working. You have family. There are people like I know a student, many students, such students who are like mom to toddlers, okay, and they are taking up papers and they have a job. So they can't leave the toddlers because toddlers won't leave them, and they have to study. So they would wake up at the time when the child is sleeping, and they would study, and then they will do all the household work and still manage to study and work. So I'm like, wow, how can you do that? So if you can do that, I think you can do the paper really well too. So you have to do it for yourself. See, that's what I can say. You have to steal time from your daily schedule. While traveling, you can try to just plug in some headphones and listen to the lecture if you're not driving. And you can maybe, while tea break is going on in the office, you can try to read something like your notes. Anything that you can do. Possibly you can arrange your, you know plan your holidays in advance. So maybe an extended weekend, not procrastinating on the weekends. Then possibly, if possible, like, before the exam, 1 week before the exam, try to take a leave. So be very pushy with your boss on that. So that's what I can suggest, or what I've seen people doing. This is not my suggestion, okay? This is what I've seen people doing. So I'm saying that that's how usually many champs who are working, having a family, and still manage to pass such complex papers. That's how they manage it. So yes, that's what you can do as well. Okay. Syllabus changes for SBR. Yes, I've already discussed that yesterday, and I'm going to make a video on that as well. Uh, yes, Lakshmi, you can take a printout of the notes. When reading and revising through an SBR standard, what mindset question should I have to be ready for AAA? So, Jose, for example, you've asked a very good question. So, for example, you're doing IS 36, okay? Impairment. So impairment says that the value of the asset reduces. That's what impairment is, due to internal and external indicators. The accounting treatment is given to you: initial treatment, subsequent treatment, where do you take the impairment loss from, etc. You have a proper standard on that. Now, while doing this standard, I need to realize with every standard provision that they've given. So if they say there are internal and external indicators, from the you're shifting your shoes from the shoes of an accountant, shift to the shoes of the auditor. So accountant is worried that external and internal indicators, if they exist, I have to do impairment review. Auditor is worried, have these people taken into account external and internal indicator? Have they purposely ignored external and internal indicator? Then accountant is saying, I have to take the asset to lower of carrying amount and the recoverable amount. Now, accountant's work is to get the recoverable amount, to get the carrying amount. Auditor's perspective is, what if there is a mistake in the recoverable amount? How did they get the fair value? From where did they get the fair value? Was it as per IFRS 30? Cost to sell, fair value minus cost to sell, right? So cost to sell, do they actually, they qualify to be called as cost to sell? What is value in use? Accountant is worried to calculate the value in use. Auditor is worried the calculation that accountant has made, is that actually correct? The judgment that he has used, that this asset is going to make these many profits in the coming years, is that judgment correct? Is he being over optimistic? Has he used correct discounting rates for the present value? So that's what auditor is thinking. That is the risk from auditor's perspective. And then he will develop a procedure around it. So if he is worried about whether the cost to sell were correctly disclosed or not, were correctly accounted for or not, so what work can he do? He can go to the accountant and obtaining is a procedure. He can obtain a list of, or a breakdown of cost to sell. Then he will pick up every such, balance in that list. He will look at every account balance, and he will see whether this cost meets the definition of cost to sell, this cost meets the definition, whether this cost is correct. On sample basis, he can vouch it back to the source document, whether this cost was actually incurred or not, or will be actually incurred or not. So if it is a value in use, then maybe it's a future cost, so there will be no source document. but I'm just giving you an example. That's how there's a difference between accountant's thought and auditor's thought. So while doing the standard, I have to, if you're preparing for SBR and AAA together, you have to keep yourself in two minds. One, the accountant mind, that's the first step. Second step is father of the accountant, auditor, who's going to look at what audit, accountant has done, whether he has done it correctly or not. Right? So this is what we have in the audit and SBR process. Right. So that's what, guys, I wanted to cover with you today. I think I have taken as many questions as possible. So BPP study text as well as I have 2023. Yes, Ifra, that would go. So that's it, guys. I hope you now understand a little bit what is SBR and what is AAA, how they're related, and how you can manage both of them together. And if you've done SBR before, how you can use that knowledge very freshly in AAA as well. And what are the challenges of advanced audit, right? So thank you so much. And again, if you plan on to enroll, just visit the website. You can drop a message or a comment down. The team would be happy to help you. And of course, if you're a self-study student, then also stick around because I'm going to share a lot of free resources like SBR and AAA's combined planner coming tomorrow. Then your grand revision on AAA, your grand revision on SBR. It's there on YouTube, like a 4-hour session which happens on YouTube. The ultimate planners, day-wise schedule of questions. So if you're a self-study student, you'll do that question by yourself, or from wherever you're taking your classes. Or if you are studying at with me, so you will do it from the portal. So that's basically the difference. But whatever the scenario is, self-study or doing it with me, you have to be sticking around until you pass these two papers. Okay, after that you can just unsubscribe and do whatever, but till then stick around, it will be helpful to you. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching it live, and may God bless you all. As I always say, let's start with our session with our quarter with a smile and blessings of God and our elders. And I really hope that each one of you watching this video and will watch it later, you actually do, and everyone who's attempting AAA, in fact, at least they do their best. And I hope most of them pass in the very first attempt. So getting to the second attempt of any paper is very hurtful, right? So I really want that you guys actually pass in the first attempt. And those who are in their second attempt already, this is your time, okay? So give it back, do your best. You can pass it. You have to just figure out what reasons, what are the wrong things that you've been doing so far, and you have to amend it. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. All the very best. May God bless you. See you in the live class on Sunday. Bye-bye.